Brian, Jordan, we're good to go. Everything looks good, sounds good, stream's good.
Awesome, let's do it. Welcome everybody to the PolyDoge and GamerJab Olympics Watch Party and Virtual Expo. So happy to have you all here. And welcome to our next AMA here in the lovely auditorium. Before we get started, there's just a couple things we'd like to have everyone be aware of with regards to this process. The presentation today will be and is being recorded and streamed through YouTube. As such, we just want to make sure that we have as little feedback as possible. So everybody that's here in the room, if you wouldn't mind during the presentation muting your microphones and turning off your video so that we don't have any of that feedback coming through. Unless you're going to be asking a question, in which case you are welcome to turn your microphone back on when it's your turn there. Your questions are absolutely welcome. Jordan and I will be monitoring those and making sure that we get every question that wants to be asked. I feel like we'll be able to get to today. As far as being able to watch and listen, over on the right-hand side of your screens here in the GamerDrive platform, there's a little play button that says live. That is where you can access the stream that's going out currently. And then after the presentation, if you guys would like, we'd ask to head over to the PolyDoge swag booth in the main lobby and register for the airdrops and giveaways that we are going to be sending out for the event if you haven't done so already. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce you to Ian Friend, the co-founder of Ferrum Network, who we are absolutely excited to have with us this morning. So welcome, Ian, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for everyone for coming out. I know this is kind of a unique setting here, but I'm excited to answer your questions. All right. Well, I want to just get things started. I can introduce myself, and then we can dive into some questions, sort of warm things up for you guys. You know, get this show on the road. But I'd like to just quickly explain some of my background, what I was doing prior to crypto, and sort of my transition in, and then we can start with some questions, I guess. Does that sound good to everybody? All righty.
That's wonderful.
So my name is Ian Friend. I'm the co-founder of Ferrum Network. Prior to joining Ferrum, I was actually working as an attorney in New York City for many years, doing litigation. Nothing related to blockchain, initially at least. But that's, I think, one wonderful thing about this industry is that no matter where you come from, no matter your professional background, I think you can find a home in crypto. But in any event, I got into crypto blockchain just as an investor, like probably many others, in like early 2017 when Coinbase opened up access to residents of New York. And a buddy of mine, I never forget, we were at a party together, and he showed me his phone, he showed me Coinbase. He was like, "This is how much I've made. This is how you buy it. So easy. Connect your bank account. Buy yourself your first Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever." And I was hooked from that moment. I was like, "This is incredible. This is the future." And so for the next 6 months or a year, I just went down the rabbit hole. Ended up investing in a bunch of altcoins, doing that whole thing, right? Pretty quickly, though, realized that there was also a professional opportunity for attorneys in the blockchain space. This was kind of in the height of the ICO boom, and there were concerns that a lot of these companies were not raising funds in a compliant way. There are many other regulations to be aware of, and blockchain law was kind of booming as well at that time. And so I I found out that a partner of the firm I was at was actually advising some crypto projects. And so he and I teamed up and we co-founded the blockchain practice team at that firm, which is like an 800 lawyer firm, worldwide global law firm. And we started to advise some clients, attract some clients to the practice. And in the course of that sort of the early establishment of the practice team, I was going to a lot of networking events in New York. And I'll never forget, I went to one, it was like probably March 2018 at that point. A little event in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, a bunch of crypto noobs, kind of like I was. And a guy came in late and he happened to sit next to me. And we got to chatting, we hit it off. And he basically told me that he was, working at Bloomberg, but at night he was building this high-speed cross-chain solution, which would enable the exchange and transaction of any digital asset in milliseconds for almost no network fees. So you could swap Ethereum for Bitcoin, for example, which was obviously not possible. Still is not really that possible, absent, going through a centralized exchange, obviously. And so he was solving some of the big problems. He clearly seemed like a brilliant guy. And we got along really well. And so few months went by. I was kind of, we stayed in touch. I was helping him find some teammates. I, at the time, didn't even consider, I wasn't thinking, oh, let me, I'll come on as a co-founder or anything like that. It was more like, let me help this guy and maybe, his company will do well and then they'll hire me to be their lawyer. But anyway, we kept talking and sort of kept, working together. I helped him, with the website and the other things like that. And a few months went by, and he got an email from Consensus, which is the biggest crypto conference in the world, saying that he had won the right to pitch the project on the main stage, real main stage, not virtual, of Consensus 2018, which is it's the biggest crypto conference in the world, hosted in New York every year. And there was only 5, we were one of 5 projects selected. So it was a huge thing. But of course, Ferrum was not ready really at all. So we just scrambled for the next 2-3 weeks, got everything together. And the night before the conference, he asked me, hey, do you want to come on as co-founder of Ferrum? And I was not that happy being a lawyer at the time. Wasn't for many reasons. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Keep in mind, we had not raised a single dollar. It's funny because I look back now we advise a lot of projects. And if Ian of 2021, or so put it this way, if the Ian of 2018 had pitched Ferrum at that time to Ian of 2021, I'd have been like, this project is shit. This is terrible. You guys have tons of work to do. And we did, but we didn't realize at the time because we were very green. Anyway, so I came on. We basically signed a contract on the floor of consent at the auditorium of Consensus the night before the conference started. And so that's how I became co-founder of Ferrum. Next day we pitched the project, didn't win, but we were able to generate a lot of attention. And I think people saw the promise of the project, and we were able to then secure seed funding a few months later. We quit our jobs in the interim, went full-time Ferrum. And that was 3 years ago. Basically around this time, 3 years ago was when we went quit our jobs, went full-time Ferrum. Since then, we've launched, I think, 4 or 5 products. attracted tens of thousands of users. The total lock value in our staking contracts it was close to 40 or 50 million at one point. Obviously a profitable business through all our various products and services, and have attracted a great team who I'm very proud of, and I know they're in here in the audience today. But so that is the story of Ferrum, or how I got started at Ferrum. And I suppose if there are any questions at this point, I'm happy to take them. It doesn't have to be about the history of Ferrum or anything like that. Just any questions at all about anything upcoming or past or what have you. I'm happy to answer. Yeah, so Pat, who I'm very thankful for, not only member of the PolyDoge team, but he's been an early Ferrum supporter. So I just want to thank you, Pat, for your ongoing support. Really appreciate that, and happy to be working with you guys now through this partnership. But yeah, so he asked about the emotional roller coaster that we've experienced as Ferrum, since we started until now. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs in the market and ups and downs in the business. And, it's tough. Early on, when I started in crypto, the ups and downs were frankly a lot tougher to stomach. If you come from the world of traditional investing, a 2% drop, 2% drop in a day of the S&P 500 is like monumental, right? Everyone's freaking out. Crypto, you get 20%, 30% drops in a day. And so that obviously is tough to stomach, especially for a newer entrant into the market. But beyond just sort of the ups and downs of the market, I mean, we founded Ferrum in the midst really of the 2018 crypto winter, right? When we founded Ferrum, and let's say we quit our jobs, everything had tanked considerably from the all-time highs of basically January of 2018. And we were now in the midst of a 2+ year crypto winter. And that was extremely difficult. 6 months ago, it had been relatively easy to raise 20 million, 30 million on, white paper and, basic ideas. Now it was nearly impossible to raise anything, even though we had made considerable strides to build product. Our first product was an exchange and payments application for emerging markets, which launched initially in Nigeria. And so we actually were pitching a finished product with users and some revenue. And even that was an extraordinary challenge. But we scraped by. I mean, at one point we were down to our last probably $20,000, in the bank in terms of what the company had. And so we were at times close to folding up shop, to be perfectly honest. But we persevered, and we just kept pushing, and we kept sort of pivoting and improving the pitch, meeting new people, talking to new investors, making connections, just grinding, just working, nonstop. And it was really just myself, Naeem, who's my co-founder, and our CMO Dom at the time, really. So it was a 3-man show. We just kept grinding. Eventually, we were able to raise a little over $1 million. And got a listing offer on BitMax, which was a big deal at the time for us. But yeah, it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. And so I always tell teams now, look, like crypto's a grind. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Some projects might get lucky, might strike lightning by timing things right or what have you. But vast majority of teams, it's just an absolute grind. And you have to be wary of things like budgeting. You have to surround yourself with the right people. And you just have to work your ass off at the end of the day. So that's my little advice for any new teams who are entering the space, although now things are a little different. Hopefully this market continues to be a bit bullish. But yeah, so stick with it. Everything will work out. Another question from Pat, who I get the sense is just sort of learning about what it's like to be a founder of a project. So he asked, owning a token and running a project, two different things. How do you convince people that their demands are sometimes illogical? When Binance, why price go up and down, that kind of stuff. That is one of, honestly, the hardest parts, I think, of being a founder, for me at least. Not, dealing with those questions is one thing. You can typically, you just respond as a reasonable person would. Unfortunately, we don't control the price. We're working as hard as we can to improve the situation, this and that. But when the price does go down, I actually get a lot of messages from investors who are scared, who are upset. And it's challenging emotionally, honestly. I mean, because I do feel sort of a duty to our investors and to our community to do our best and to try to make them money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what most people in crypto are here for. And it's painful when, you've done a lot, most everything within your power, and yet still, their investments are suffering. And it's especially true now that we have this incubator and community members actually invest in projects that we incubate. There's an extra level of duty there. But at the end of the day, I don't distinguish too much between the project and the token. My view is, if you keep working hard on the project, the token price will eventually follow. And that's assuming, look, you're doing things which will add utility to the token, which will incentivize investors to come on. So whether that's marketing, whether that's new initiatives to create utility, something we've done recently at Ferrum after launching our token bridge is configure it such that every transaction on that bridge burns a small amount of Ferrum. And to date, we've burned probably close to 60 or 70,000 Ferrum tokens, and the bridge just launched a few weeks ago. And so my view on it is, if you keep working hard, you keep adding utility, doing things to attract users, doing marketing, forming partnerships, all these things will eventually add up, and the token will perform well. The token will follow when the market turns bullish again. But you got, hopefully your project has admins to respond to the questions of when Binance and so on. those are always a little bit silly, but so just keep grinding. Like I said before, things will turn out fine. Sure. So Brian asked about all the different products and services that Ferrum offers. Oh, what's up, Johnny Diap? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. So Brian asked all about all our products and services. So Ferrum is really become a cross-chain DeFi ecosystem at this point. We have been around for 3+ years, and we've managed to launch really 4 core products that have proven to be quite successful. We have our non-custodial Unifier wallet, which is designed to appeal to newer entrants to crypto with technology such as link drops, which allows you to send crypto anywhere using a link. That's basically our wallet in which people hold their Ferrum to sort of enter our ecosystem. We've launched a DeFi staking system, which has become, frankly, the most popular staking as a service option on the market. We have close to 100 clients on that product, and probably around 40 to 50 million total lock value has gone through those staking pools over the past year or so when we finally did launch as a white label. Of course, we have our incubator, or advisory services arm, where we work closely with newer stage projects, assisting them with community growth, marketing, fundraising, and tech support. And then I just mentioned our token bridge, which is the product we just launched, and something I'm probably of all the things we launched, I'm actually the most excited about the token bridge, because we're seeing the need and demand for a product like this when we do our pitches, which we do about, I don't know, 3 a day. Shout out to Taha, who's been leading those pitches at an incredibly high level. But I'm in a lot of those pitches, and the excitement from the projects is really palpable, because they see the need for a true cross-chain, multi-chain token bridge, which not only generates utility for their token, but actually also generates revenue for their project. And that's what our token bridge does. So that just launched. We deployed it for the Ferrum token a few weeks ago. Like I said, it's burned through 50, 60,000 Ferrum and burning more every single day. But we've also been signing up projects for this bridge. We have not announced any yet, but I think we have 4 or 5 signed up, some big names. And we're pitching to even bigger names. Some of the top chains in the industry have been taking notice of this bridge, because I really do believe it is the most user-friendly, it's the fastest, and it's the most beneficial to projects, and also most secure bridge on the market. It's just going to get better and better. So that is a product I'm extremely excited about. We'll be announcing new clients, new projects very soon. And yeah, sky's the limit for that one. But oh, and by the way, we have another surprise product coming around staking, which will launch very soon, or pretty soon, I should say, which is going to actually accelerate the number of Ferrum being burned, and it's going to provide staking opportunities across various chains, really at all times. So it's going to be that's going to be a really, really great product for Ferrum. We're constantly building at the end of the day. It's just a matter of, understanding the market, finding product market fit, solving real problems. And that's really what we try to do with all our products. So thank you for that question, though. So Jordan has asked about the chains on the token bridge and the long-term vision that we have for the bridge. So in terms of the current chains, we launched the Ferrum token bridge with Matic and Ethereum, but Binance Smart Chain is basically there. It's just we have not we haven't deployed it we haven't deployed it for our bridge yet, because we don't have a Binance Smart Chain token out yet. There's a plan around that. Anyway, the bridge is 3 ways currently: Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and Matic. And that's notable because there is actually no bridge on the market that goes direct from Binance Smart Chain to Matic. All the bridges that we've seen, at least, you have to go do a 3-way thing, go through Ethereum, or you can go direct. And that's the beautiful thing about this bridge. The more chains we add, and we're in the process of adding other EVM compatible chains as we speak, will allow you to do these swaps, from whichever chain to whichever chain. You don't have to go through an intermediate chain like most bridges on the market. So I can't reveal the exact order of which chains that we'll be launching, but we are in talks, like I said, with many of the major blockchains out there, top 50 projects kind of deal. And we're just really excited to be able to announce those in the near future. But the long-term vision for the bridge, I think, is really twofold. One is we believe this bridge can become the preeminent bridge in crypto. And why is that? One, like I said, it's the most user-friendly bridge on the market. Anyone can use this. You don't have to, understand what's going on in the background. You don't have to have a PhD in blockchain. You just go to the website. It's a 5-step process. Anyone can do it. So it's extremely user friendly. That's first and foremost. Secondly, it's very easy to add chains, right? You can, the way it's set up, it relies on kind of a liquidity-based technology rather than minting and burning function, and this allows us to add chains very easily. So we can quickly just scale up to many, many chains, right? But the other thing about it is that we've set it up like all our other products, such that you can or any project can white label this bridge, and they can put it right up on their website, or they can opt to add their token to the bridge on the Ferrum website. And so I think very quickly, this can become the most popular bridge on the market because teams can have, their communities will not necessarily have to go to some other bridge website. They can just do right on their own website. And it uses the project's native tokens as the fees to use the bridge. So teams are actually incentivized to want to use this bridge because it adds utility to their token and generates revenue for their project. So taken its totality, there is no other bridge, in my view at least, that comes close to this kind of offering. And so I think, especially with the team that we have, the amount of work they're putting into this, it's incredible. The number of pitches that they're doing every day, I mean, it's and the outreach that Nick and the other guys on the BD team are doing to reach other projects. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So I think within the next 3 to 6 months, the Ferrum bridge will likely be the most popular bridge on the market. So that's kind of I would say, the nearer term vision for the bridge. By the way, we can add non-EVM compatible chains as well, pretty, well, I'll say easily, but in time, which is not something many other bridges can do. But the long-term vision is to essentially evolve this into what will become the Ferrum mainnet. I mean, we'll always have the bridge, don't get me wrong, but this can be viewed as essentially a precursor to the Ferrum mainnet, which is going to be its own blockchain, which will allow the exchange of transaction of any digital asset, regardless of which chain that asset originated on. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. There's how many different chains are there in the top 10 alone? We can unite them under the Ferrum mainnet and allow folks to, do swaps like you would have on Uniswaps, like a true cross-chain Uniswap product. Of course, the bridge itself, may eventually run on the Ferrum mainnet. So the long-term vision is kind of to take the learnings and to take everything we're doing with the bridge now and be able to apply that to the Ferrum mainnet, which we hope to launch this year, maybe next. Obviously, we're very busy on the dev side, although we're hiring and scaling up. But that's the long-term vision. I mean, it's really ultimately about uniting these blockchains and create, really solving that problem of interoperability, which has been probably one of the chief problems in crypto that I think has been impeding mass adoption since we got started 3 years ago. A long journey, but like I say to folks, I've never been more bullish on Ferrum than I am right now, and that's because I know this team and I know the roadmap that's coming up. So yeah, just extremely excited. And still just the beginning for Ferrum, but thank you for that question. That's a great question. Okay, so someone asked, how much does the bridging cost? The bridging is not only very fast, it's also quite cheap. By the way, the Ferrum bridge takes on average 2 minutes to do a transaction, to do a swap across chains. Compare that to some of main competing bridges out there, and it's orders of magnitude faster. A lot of bridges take an hour or more to do a swap. And that's a problem when you're trying to take advantage of an arbitrage opportunity, or you're trying to get into a pre-sale or something like that. You need these tokens quickly. So the bridge is very fast. It's also very cheap because you're only really paying for two fees. You're paying the gas fees on both chains. So, whatever, costs an Ethereum transaction, whatever costs to do a Matic transaction, obviously Matic's far cheaper. So say it's like a couple dollars in gas fees, $5 in gas fees or something from the Ethereum side. And then there is a small transaction fee imposed by the bridge itself. We've set that fee at 2%, which we felt was reasonable given our vision to create a deflationary ecosystem. We burn 100% of the fees, bridge fees are burned. So we selected a 2% fee, but a project could select less. They could select more, right? It's perfectly configurable, but in our view, it's one of the fastest, or it's the fastest and one of the cheapest bridges on the market. Oh, I think someone asked about PolyDoge. Yeah. Okay. Brian asked about what excites me the most about the Ferrum PolyDoge partnership. So I just want to say, first and foremost, that it has been an absolute pleasure to have been working with the PolyDoge team. These are great guys. They care deeply about relationships, their community, adding value to crypto. These guys are everything you'd want in a crypto project and team. So it's been an absolute pleasure to work with all of you. In terms of the partnership, though, I mean, I have to be honest, I've been loving what you guys have done around this Olympics watch party and these virtual events. I had the pleasure of hanging out here with these guys last week, and we just had a great time. It's such a trip what PolyDoge and GamerJive have been able to achieve here. And in my view, this could be the future of conferences. Because who wants to fly all around the world when you can just, in your living room, hanging out with people in a virtual space? So it's been incredible. I can't wait to do more of these. Do you have any other questions? Will Ferrum mint its token on Matic and BSC was the question. So we've already minted on Matic. We deployed the Ferrum token on Matic about a month ago, and we listed on DFIN Exchange, which is one of our partners within the Matic ecosystem. We also launched a cohort, or we are part of a cohort on Unifarm. So folks can actually stake their Ferrum, their Matic Ferrum within Unifarm and earn more Ferrum, but also earn other tokens within that farm. That's ongoing, by the way. APY is still pretty high, last I checked. And we also received a grant from Matic, and we partnered with Matic, and we're actually been introducing Matic to many projects within our ecosystem. In particular, a lot of these gaming projects that we're incubating, like the one we just announced, Yay Games. So we've really, I think, ingratiated ourselves in the ecosystem of Matic, and that's tremendous credit to Nick and the other members of the BD team for making all that happen. But yeah, we're already on Matic. BSC is coming. There's a strategy behind BSC. There's a reason why we sort of took one step at a time. Matic first, BSC next, and that will be revealed soon. But ultimately, the bridge will be 3 ways, and we'll list on PancakeSwap. and you'll actually be able to exploit arbitrage opportunities then between all three chains, and that should accelerate the usage of the bridge and the burning of Ferrum. So it's all coming together slowly but surely. Someone asked a question of something else. Okay. Yeah, please tell us what projects you're incubating right now, and my thoughts on the future of Polygon and Matic. Yeah, so we are incubating many projects right now. People might not know this, but the incubator and advisory arm of the Ferrum business has actually grown tremendously. I think what happened is teams found out that we provide a good service, and we basically just, teams just approach us nonstop to help them. Obviously, we turn the vast majority of them down, but we have managed to onboard a number of very exciting and innovative and high quality projects. One of which we just announced earlier this week, called Yay Games. They are a decentralized gaming marketplace. So that basically allows you to earn crypto while you play games. We actually view gaming as the next hyped up sector, gaming and / metaverses. We had NFTs earlier in the year, DeFi before that. I think gaming is going to be the next big trend because there's natural synergies between the realities of gaming, which involve a lot of in-game transactions and so on, and blockchain technology, being able to solve some of those problems. So I'm very bullish on gaming in general, but the exciting thing to see is that others are too, right? Matic is very big on it. They just announced some sort of grant system that's going to be going to gaming projects. I think a lot of folks are very excited about gaming. And so Yay Games is within that, obviously within that realm. We have another project we're incubating, which is going to, I think, be quite massive. It's actually a launch pad for gaming-based projects. And the vision of that project is to not only facilitate fundraising, community growth, and so on for gaming projects, regardless of chain they're on, but provide a sort of a central hub of users who will also be incentivized to use these games, right? So it's kind of an ecosystem of launching projects and attracting users. And this project has some major backers and supporters already, but it is in total stealth mode still. But I expect us to take that out of stealth mode in the next few weeks. Another project I'm very bullish on that we're incubating is finally sort of ramping things up. It has been frankly very tough the past 2-3 months for new projects. Obviously, the market being down, people are less interested in taking risks on early stage projects, which I suppose is understandable. But what we've done is basically evolve our approach to these projects to fit the current market conditions. So from the standpoint of token metrics, much lower raises, much lower initial market caps, to an emphasis on immediate token utility at the time the projects launch. We don't want a situation where investors are waiting for months before the token has any use case. So that means pushing projects to actually launch a product sooner, and not raise funds and then be like, yeah, we're raising these funds to, launch a product in a year from now. It's like, no, get farther along in your progress and then come to me. And then we might raise funds from the Ferrum community if it's a strong enough project. None of this waiting stuff, because it's just too much of a risk to the investors. Anyway, that was a long tangent. That brings me back to a new project that I love, called Manga, FOMO, aka FOMO Chronicles, founded by our dear token economics magician Patrick, who's basically an advisor to Ferrum. This is a platform for manga-based NFTs. And for folks who don't know, manga is a huge, huge market. And there's a lot of synergies between that and crypto and a sort of overlap. So they've developed dozens of these manga comics that relate directly to the crypto space. So whether that's project-specific comics, influencer-specific projects, general mangas that kind of explain the pitfalls and some of the challenges in crypto, but in kind of this fun way. And they've been quietly building and pushing in the background through these past 2 months of bearish conditions. And they've onboarded like 15 or 20 partners who want to have their own manga, right? Including some of the biggest influencers, big projects. And one of the reasons I'm extremely bullish on this project is Patrick and his team are literally batting 1,000 when it comes to pitching manga. There's been every time they pitch manga to a team, like, hey, do you want a manga? Do you want to be part of our ecosystem? This and that. Every team is signing up for it, which goes to show that there's product market fit and there's real excitement. And the nice thing about this project is they just revised the token metrics downwards. It's like a $700,000 raise, $100,000 initial market cap. So again, fitting the current bearish conditions so as to de-risk the investors, the Ferrum investors and other investors. That's been a really core focus of ours in the past few months. But we're excited to ramp up this incubator again. We got so many trials. That was just a fraction of the ones in the pipeline. There's probably 5 or 6 others that have signed up, but we have not announced yet. So yeah, the incubator is still rolling. We just haven't done any raises because no one wants to invest right now. But that's changing, I think, now with these better conditions. I think someone had another question, although maybe time is running short, so I can probably take 1 or 2 more if folks have questions. What is your hope and wish for the future of crypto? Well, to be honest, the cynical side of me has frankly been a bit disappointed with the direction of crypto in the past few years. I mean, we have seen some innovations that solve real problems. I think NFTs are arguably one of them, but I think we've just scratched the surface of NFTs. I mean, digital art that sells for $70 million, Beeple's stuff, whatever, is probably not solving a lot of problems. But I think NFTs as a concept and a technology can. Crypto to me needs to get back to its roots of solving financial problems. And I don't know what's going to happen for folks. I don't know if the main target audience or sort of users for blockchain technology on a day-to-day basis are those in the West. I view emerging markets as places where crypto, the underlying value of sort of near instant decentralized value transfers, worldwide value transfers, that to me is the core promise of crypto. And I think it really shines in places where there's high inflation, unstable governments, places where a dictator could rise up at any moment and, basically take over a country, or a politician could print endless money and inflate your currencies and so on. So I think that to me is where long-term crypto is really going to find a true use case. But I mean, look, in the meanwhile, DeFi is great. I think there's many opportunities to disrupt industries that are centralized and add an element of decentralization. At the same time, I think some of that's probably overstated. But look, I think we're still early days in the world of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's really only this is a 10-year-old experiment. And so I think we're just scratching the surface of the potential use cases. But to me, like, after having experienced what it's like to build that business in Nigeria, for instance, and seeing how our users reacted to the value of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for everyday needs, that was really quite inspiring to me. So I think that's hopefully long term, we don't move away from that vision, the original vision of Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So we'll see though. But this industry never ceases to surprise. And there's going to be plenty of trends that come and go. But yeah, so that's my very simple take on the future of crypto. Oh, someone wants to hodl Ferrum on the Matic token, the Matic version of Ferrum. I don't have that address off the top of my head, but you can join our community, the Ferrum Network community. We have wonderful admins there who will answer any of your questions. They'll provide you addresses and so on. Be careful, only because there's a tendency for, if you ask a question, you might get PM'd by an admin. Never trust that. Admins won't PM you. But you can find that information on our probably on our CoinGecko, and also the community will provide that for you. Yeah. Oh wait, someone has the thing here. Oh, the Ferrum T-shirt. Yeah, our good friends made these for us. We have a merch store, although I'm not sure it's up on the new website. We can arrange a T-shirt for you, Brian. It's no problem. But if there are not any more questions, I'd like to just thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank the PolyDoge team, GamerJive team, Ferrum team for setting all this up. This was awesome. I hope we can do it again soon. And yeah, just looking forward to continue to build our awesome relationship with PolyDoge. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Ian. And thank you to the Ferrum Network as well for being with us today. If you guys have any other questions, you can talk to these guys here. They've got a booth for the duration of the event. In fact, they've got their own expo hall built out. And then, of course, we've got all of their links out to their social media and to their website as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.